You have heard every voice you will ever love. Your mother's, a friend laughing, a stranger singing to themselves on a quiet street. But there is one sound you will never hear. The voice of the first human who ever spoke. They lived, they laughed, they whispered secrets in the dark, and every sound they made vanished the instant it left their mouth. Sound doesn't fossilize. There is no recording, no echo left in any cave. So here is the question that should stop you cold. If nothing survives, how could we ever know what they sounded like? You would think this is impossible to know. And for a long time, scientists thought so too. But a voice is not magic. It is a machine. Bone, muscle, air, and shape. And machines leave clues. A skull, a tiny throat bone, the size of a hole where a nerve once passed. Piece those clues together and the silence starts to speak. This is how we rebuild a voice that died 100,000 years ago. Right now, do this. Put your fingers on your throat and hum. That buzz is 2 flaps of tissue slamming together over 100 times a second. Your vocal folds. But the buzz alone is just noise. What turns noise into a voice is the space above it. Your throat, your mouth, your nose. That space is called the vocal tract. Change its shape and you change everything. Deep, high, harsh, warm. And here is the gift for us. The shape of that tract is set by bone, and bone can survive. The length of your throat, the angle of your jaw, the arch of your palate, all of it shapes your sound. All of it leaves a mark in the skeleton. So when we find an ancient skull, we are not just holding a face, we are holding an instrument. The only problem, one crucial piece almost never survives. And for decades, it was missing. Meet the hyoid. A small floating bone in your throat, shaped like a horseshoe. It is the only bone in your body that touches no other bone. It anchors the muscles of your tongue and voice box. No hyoid, no controlled speech. It is the keystone of the human voice. For years we had ancient skulls, but never this bone. It is tiny, it scatters, it crumbles. Then in a cave in Israel called Kibara, we found one. A Neanderthal hyoid, 60,000 years old. And the shock? It looked almost exactly like yours. Same shape, same muscle attachments. The hardware for speech was already there, in a species that was not us. This changed the story. Neanderthals were not grunting brutes. They may have talked, argued, comforted their children, but could they say everything you can say? That is where the bone goes quiet, and other clues start to whisper. A Neanderthal throat was not shaped quite like yours. Their chest was huge. Their voice box may have sat higher. Bigger body, wider airways, more air. Many scientists think their voice was louder, deeper, more powerful. Picture a voice built to carry across a frozen valley, over wind, through snow. But there is a twist. Some reconstructions suggest a slightly higher, more nasal tone than you would expect from such a big body. The point is not that they sounded like monsters, it is that they sounded like people, just tuned to a different instrument. And what about the first Homo sapiens? Here comes the strangest part. Their skulls, their throats, their hyoids, anatomically, they could make every sound you can make, every single one. A baby born 40,000 years ago, raised today, could speak your language with no accent at all. The body was ready. So the real question is no longer how they sounded, but what they did with it. Before words, there was music. Many researchers believe we sang before we spoke. A mother humming to calm a baby. That soft, floating melody may be older than any sentence. The first words were probably not words at all. Calls, warnings, A shout that meant danger, run, and laughter. Laughter is ancient, older than speech, older than our species. Even apes do it. So the very first human sounds in the dark were probably not sentences. They were laughs, cries, and songs. Then, slowly, sounds froze into meaning. A grunt became a name, a tone became a rule, a story. And once you can tell a story, you can pass on everything you know without being there. That is the true superpower of the voice. Every myth, every warning, every lullaby traveled mouth to mouth for tens of thousands of years before a single word was written down. But wait, if it was never written, is the actual sound of those languages gone forever? Not entirely. Languages leave fingerprints in their descendants. Compare living languages and you can rewind the tape. Linguists reconstructed words no human has spoken in 6,000 years, like a word for father or star. Some sounds humans made were wilder than anything in English. Clicks, like the click languages still spoken in Africa today. Many scientists think clicks may be among the oldest sounds of all, a possible echo of humanity's first speech. So when you hear a click language, you may be hearing something very close to the dawn of the human voice. Let's pull it together. The hardware, the hyoid, the throat, the skull, was in place long before us. Neanderthals likely spoke, louder, deeper, a little strange to your ear. The first sapiens could make every sound you can. They laughed and sang before they ever argued about grammar. And their languages didn't fully vanish. They live on, in clicks, in reconstructed words, in every language you speak. We will never truly hear them. No recording will ever surface from a cave, but every time you say a name, hum a tune, or laugh in the dark, you are using the same instrument they used. Their voices are gone, but the voice, the human voice, never stopped. It has been passed, breath to breath, all the way to you. So next time the fire is low and someone starts to speak, listen. That sound is 100,000 years old. Pull up a seat by the fire, and I'll see you next week for another beginning.